Today is March 8th, 2016. It is Tuesday, so it was sale day at the thrift store. Still is. I actually just got back a few minutes ago and found a couple goodies. Nothing super spectacular, but a couple things I did want to share with you. First thing that I thought was really cool, I saw this the other day. It's this 9-in-1 universal remote with command center. This particular remote is from Radio Shack, very similar to the one that I use on my bedside bed TV nightly, basically. It's got, let's see, it's 8-in-1, so it'll control up to 8 devices. One thing that's really cool about this, it actually has a receiver that you can put in another room, so you can actually control a device in a separate room with the remote, and you don't necessarily have to be in that room. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll do a review on this later on, but I paid $6.98 for this. Actually, it was $6.98 minus the 25% discount, so it came to a little over $5. Not a bad deal, though I do want to check because sometimes they do put batteries in these in the factory, and being as this is about 10 years old now, never been used as new old stock, I want to make sure the batteries haven't leaked. And the one other thing I picked up today, again, nothing super special, but I thought it was pretty cool for 99 cents. One of these little Coleman LED lanterns. And what's nice about this is it has an adjustable intensity for the LED beam. You can go really low, medium, and then all the way up to high. I don't know how well the camera is going to pick this up. I'm actually using the digital 8 camcorder because I wanted you to see this as best I could, and works best for showing intensity, at least brightness intensity. But yeah, you can see it goes from bright to dim, and it actually runs on 3 AA batteries. There's some Duracells in there right now, and they look to be fine. They're good. It says till 2017, so I'll probably just keep those in there. But yeah, I mean, nothing else really that good at the thrift store. As usual, they just haven't been putting a lot of stuff out. I talked to one of my friends there, and I found out that they're having a high turnover rate with their employees right now, so I'm sure that's a big part of it. You got to remember, when you're in an environment like that, it's pretty much an entry-level job. It's something that you start out at and stay for maybe a few months to a year at most. There are only a couple people there that I've known that have been there for more than 3, 4. I know a few people there 5 years, but for the most part, it's college students or retirees trying to just get a part-time job. So it's really hard because with the high turnover rate, they have to train the new people. And from what I understand, 2 or 3 of the processors actually just quit. So that's one of the hardest jobs because the processors actually have to price the items. And of course, you're going to lose a lot of money if you get people that don't really know what prices to put on the different items. And it works both ways because I could tell there's a lot of new people in the back. When I went into the thrift store today, I was looking for a couple of LCD monitors. Nothing super special. A 17-inch one would do just fine. And they have them there, but they marked $20 a piece on them. And these are 10, 12-year-old Gateway 17-inch LCDs. They're not even widescreen. They're the 4x3 format, and that's just way too much money for something like that. I know that the processors that used to be there, they'd put maybe $7, $8 a piece on them, but $20 for that? I mean, come on, nobody's going to pay $20 for those. They're just going to sit there, and every 2 weeks they're going to mark them down half price. So probably next week they'll be down to $9.99, then I'll mark them down to $5.98. It just really just gets on my nerves that they need to have a set price for certain products. Computer and electronics items especially. I mean, they already have a set price for clothes. If you go in there and you try to get a pair of pants, it starts at $4.98. I mean, that's it. Every pair of pants, man's, women's, it doesn't matter. They're always $4.98, and then they go marked down from there. Shirts are usually $3.98 to $4.98 as well. So they have pretty much set prices for those. The albums right now are 98 cents a piece, but they're usually $1.98. Cassettes are $1. CDs are usually starting at $1.98. They have set prices for all that stuff, but when it comes to technology, computers, monitors, VCRs, laptops, pretty much anything like that, they just don't know what price to put on these things, and it really gets upsetting because they have some things in there I would really like to pick up, and I probably will eventually, but I have to wait a month or so before it gets down to a price that I'm comfortable paying for. I'm willing to pay for it, basically. But I don't want to be negative. I mean, they have sold me a lot of cool things in the past, as most of you guys know. Well, I'm going to be pretty busy today. I have a friend of mine that's having a major issue with her new laptop. She just bought a Dell 13-inch touchscreen laptop running Windows 10. It's got like a Core i5, 8 gigabytes of RAM. And I set up for her a couple of days ago. And unfortunately, it was working fine, but she let one of her neighbors use it. And she told her neighbor, please do not change anything on there. I just had it fixed and basically set up. I put good antivirus, anti-spyware software on. I put on Chrome and Firefox for, and I basically put all of her favorites up there for, basically quick tabs for her banking information, all the websites that she usually goes to. And her friend just totally messed it up. I have no idea what she did. I'm a little nervous to go over there and find out, because it might be a total redo on my part. Plus, I do have to set up a new printer for her. But you know what? A job's a job, and I'm just going to inform her one more time. Don't let people use your laptop. When I had my friends come over when I was young, I always let them use my computer, and I would say 9 times out of 10, I had a virus or something go wrong with the computer after they used it. Now, I'm not sitting there. I wasn't sitting there and watching them, of course, so that was the major problem. I don't know what they were doing, But like I said, just whenever somebody asks you to use your computer, you can always set up a guest account where they have very limited access. Maybe just go on the internet, do a few tasks, but they can't go to certain sites that might cause infections, because that's what I think used to happen when I was younger. And of course, this was before I really got into computers. I mean, it was a hobby back then, so I was just a kid. I didn't know any better. And back then, of course, we're talking about Windows 98, maybe Windows 2000 era, so there wasn't as many good security software back then. Usually back then, I was probably, I'd be honest with you, I think some of my computers didn't even have antivirus on it. If it did, it was an old version of either Norton or McAfee. So let's face it, that was what we used back then. Well, I don't know if you could tell from behind me, you probably can't, but it is absolutely beautiful today. The weather is phenomenal. It's about 65 degrees. Tomorrow it's going to get up to about 70, and there is no rain in the forecast, and I am so happy about that. As most of you guys know, watch my videos on a regular basis. The weather here in Virginia, Southern Virginia, has just been atrocious this past year. One of the wettest winters we've had on record. They actually said that we broke the rain total and basically moisture total record that was set back, I think, in 1882 or 1883. In other words, we've had more precipitation this year than we've had, this area's had in over 140 years. And it's just caused a lot of problems. Luckily, we haven't actually flooded, but as I've shown you guys before, when it does rain here right now, the ground is so saturated, the backyard literally turns into a lake for a couple hours. But the way our house is designed, we are actually up on a foundation. We don't actually have a slab where the house is just sitting like level to the ground. We did that on purpose. Well, one, because it does tend to flood around here, and two, we just didn't like the way that it looks. Basically how it works, because in our area, at least with newer houses, there are no basements. We actually have a crawl space underneath the house, and that's where we house some of our, that's where the sprinkler system is housed. And that's where they go and they check for termites every year. And luckily we haven't really had any active termites, cross our fingers, right? But that prevents us from flooding here. But people down in the Norfolk area near the Hague, and those of you that live in my area will know what I'm talking about. They've had it particularly hard this year. I know that tends to flood every time we get even a moderate amount of rain. And this is all due to, I've said before, the El Nino effect, which is going to be here probably for one more year, and then it'll be El Niña, which means we're going to have a lot less moisture. It'll be probably colder. El Nino means you're wetter and warmer. And El Nino means it's colder and drier. So we got one more year of this. It won't be as intense next year. It'll start tapering off, and I think the year after that, so it'll be 2018, we'll see another spot of dry weather. Well, I am going to head over to my friend's house, try to get this computer sorted, and we'll see what the rest of the day brings. I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Before I go, I wanted to show you, you guys, that I do indeed have a new website up. I'm sure some of you know about it, but I haven't really talked in depth about it on the YouTube channel pretty much. But basically what this is a hobbyist channel. It's, of course, mainly promoting my YouTube channel, but I also have a tab I just put up called Cassette Tape Collectors page. And this is still in the very, very preliminary stages. For those of you that want to know what it is mattmroy.wix.com/YouTube media. And on the front homepage, it basically says welcome to my channel. It gives you a little spiel about what I do and what my channel is all about. And from time to time, I'll update the videos. In other words, if I post up a new YouTube video that I think you guys are really going to be interested in, I'll go ahead and put a link to it on the website. And then, like I said, I do have the tape collectors page, which is, again, in its very, very preliminary stages right now. You can see in the background I have a picture of my tape collection. That is actually what's sitting up there. It's actually grown a little bit since I took this picture probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I have the links down here to all of my social media accounts. You got Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Pinterest, and Instagram. And basically, you guys can pause the video if you want to read what that says, but it just basically is telling you guys that this page is going to be dedicated to cassette tapes and probably all forms of tape media in general in the future, but I will probably add another tab once I get to that point. For right now, I just have my estate auction finds, the cassette tape haul, and then the review I did of the Ion tape to PC digital tape deck review. Yes, I do still have this. I get a lot of questions about that. I do actually still have that cassette deck, but it does not work very well. The side B is not steady. I don't believe it's a belt problem, because I took it apart and the belts are still tight. They're not worn out or gooey or gummy or anything. I believe it's an issue with that motor, but the side A works fine. And what I basically use this for is to transfer cassette tapes to the computer. And even though it's not the best quality way to do it, it just makes it really easy because I have their software. And basically it allows me just to put the cassette in, open up the program, basically hit record on the computer, play on the cassette deck, and it'll actually help me separate the tracks when everything's said and done. So I will be using that from time to time. I do also have the Audacity program on my HP 2000 system, and I have that hooked into one of my older that's a JVC deck, and I can do the cassette transfers to that as well. It just takes a little bit more time. Hello, Simon. Do you want to say hi to everybody on YouTube? Yes, I know. If I don't put him in at least one vlog a week, I get a lot of comments. How's Simon doing? How your cat's doing? He is doing just fine. I actually switched him to a different brand of dry food. We were giving him the Meow Mix for a while, but it seems like his stomach was really hurting him. So we decided to switch him to the Authority brand hairball control and adult formula. That's PetSmart's house brand. He seems to be doing much, much better on that. I also have cut him back drastically on the amount of wet food that he eats, because the wet food tends to give him diarrhea. And for a cat his age, again, pushing 15, that's not good. I think that also kind of attributes to his throwing up a little bit, and as do the hairballs as well. So best thing I tell you to do, if your cat is like mine and has issues with its stomach and it likes to throw up a lot, make sure you give him good food and brush him. As you can see, his fur is really, really soft right now. I try to brush him at least once a week. The main problem I have with him, he has very, very coarse fur, and what tends to happen is he gets these knots in his fur. And if you don't brush those out, he'll go ahead and try to pick them out with his teeth, and that all gets caught up in his throat in one big hairball, and it really causes him to throw up quite often. So I find that if I give him the right food, give him good dry food, cut him back on the wet food, and groom him at least once a week, he tends to be pretty good. Now, bear in mind that in the winter you're going to groom them less because they try to keep their coat. It's just the way their bodies are. It's instinctive. If they were out in the wild, they would need that warmth, the coat to keep them warm. So, like I said, bear in mind when you do brush them, especially in the winter, you're not going to get as much off. But just make sure if you have a cat that has very coarse fur like mine, that you tend to brush those knots out. Just don't, pass over them. If you feel a knot, don't just say, oh, well, he'll get it out. Yeah, he'll get it out, and might cause him to throw up in the future. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the vlog here for today. Once again, as soon as I get the Alvin and the Chipmunks, the DVD, the Volume 2 in, I'll go ahead and do a full review of my Alvin and the Chipmunks collection to this point. I know a lot of people are waiting on that, but I want to wait till I get everything in. That way I can give you a full inventory of what I actually have right now. I have a few questions about duplicates. I do have a few of the duplicate Alvin and the Chipmunks Go to the Movies VHS tapes, and I will be offering those up on YouTube for trade as soon as I go through them. I know I have at least 2 or 3 of the Batmonk VHS tapes, and I may have an extra 1 or 2 of Funny We Shrunk the Adult. So if any of you guys are interested in those and have something that I need, maybe we can go ahead and make a trade. Go ahead and just send me a personal message at my channel. Other than that, I really appreciate you guys starting to subscribe more to the channel. It is going up my subscriber base, but not as quickly as I would have expected. If you guys really enjoy my videos and watch them on a regular basis, please just take a moment and click that subscribe button in the bottom. It'll help me out in the long run, and it'll also help you out because you'll see me be able to contribute more to the channel, more time, and basically get more products to review. And go ahead and just leave me a message in the comments. Tell me what you think. And, like I said, if you like my video, give it a like. If you really dislike it, go ahead and give me a dislike. But if you do, leave a constructive comment. Tell me something that you would like to see. Please remember to like and subscribe. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.